Hooray!
Welcome back to Dreaded Breakfast Brunch Edition.
Tasty.
D to the E to the L-I-C-I-O-U-S T to the A to the S-T-E-Y. Dread, you tasty.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and that's my name, and this is my voice. Hello.
My name is Christine, and this is my voice.
I'm Marissa.
Fob is the name that is my name. Hello.
You would never know that we have just finished a season of our podcast.
No.
A multi-award-winning season.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Holy cow. Thank you so much to the Miami and Minnesota Web Fest. Holy shit. That still doesn't feel real. Anyway, Brunch is just our wrap up of the season. We're going to welcome you in, offer you a mimosa and some answers to questions.
First question, should we have called this Mega Breakfast?
Ooh. It's not too late to change the name, I feel like.
I think
No,
it
it's
is.
too late to
Oh,
change the
shit.
name. We've committed to Brunch.
But yes, we're going to answer some questions. And then afterward, my God, we have created an abomination of a food challenge. Please stick around.
Let's dive in.
So I think let's start off by talking a little bit about the overall through line of the season. So Fob, can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with ORCS?
ORCS has literally been something that's been rattling around in my brain for like 5 years, maybe?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It wasn't like a helpful 5 years of thought. It was more just like, yeah, that's a thing. And the cool thing that I want to do has to have some kind of like initialism. And I was like, oh, it could be ORCS. ORCS. That's so few letters. I'll just do that. And then I have to figure out what it means. So oddity research and containment specialists. No one in their right mind is going to get oddity. Haha.
I did think it was organization for like a literal year of my life.
Everyone always does.
Well, and that worked well because then we could do ghosts and cryptids and dolls and other things.
And like a lot of what would become like how orcs functions and stuff, we just made up collaboratively by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
Because like naming characters after colors was like oh, that's funny. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, yeah, the colors are the different
Branches. And that's, yeah.
Which really, I think, points to the entirety of how this show has formed, where one
Yes.
person has one idea and we bring it to each other, and the individual idea expanding and becoming more complex and even, I would say, more fulfilling through the input of the other three.
To your point, Christine, I think we have all grown a lot as collaborators, as like storytellers, and also as like players. And I'm curious, like, how have you all seen yourselves develop over the wild adventures we've had?
Well, I had never played an RPG before, which I've talked about. And so at first it was just, learning how to do the thing, which is a little bit different than just acting because it's all improv and you're telling a story. But one of the biggest things I think I learned was how to pay attention to details and how to use your notes,
Yes.
especially with some of the stories that would take months for us to record, because I can't keep all that in my brain.
Yeah, similarly for me, I hadn't played I don't think any RPG before doing this, and also was not an actor in any sense of the word. So learning how to do voices, which voices not to do because it'll destroy your throat,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, really, every step of this has been something new, something to grow in for me.
But the captain was so good, Jacob.
And he hurt so much.
For me, I struggle a lot just normally with self-confidence and like shit like that. So like learning how to trust my own instinct was very uncomfortable, but I think very beneficial. Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
You didn't grow at all? You're exactly the same?
Yeah, I think I know what I need to do to grow. But that's what season 1 has kind of shown me, but I don't think I've done it yet. So the best is yet to come, people. Keep listening.
So another question, which is one that we're definitely stealing from a question that was brought up during Planet Arcana's Arc 1 finale live stream. But it's a very phenomenal question, so I couldn't resist asking it. But is there anything surprising that anyone has learned about another player at the table while we've been making this podcast?
Ooh, that is very good. This is at you, Jacob. Like, I had always known that you are very quick-witted. I was surprised at how many banger one-liners you just come up with all the time. Like, every episode, I die laughing.
Thanks. I wish I could do it on purpose, but sometimes it just spews out.
That's called instinct. We love that.
That's fair.
I think anything that I learned about Marissa was like maybe surprising because we didn't know each other before we started doing this, really. But even once I did get to know you, I was always so like, I don't know if maybe surprised isn't the right word, but just like very impressed with like the level of detail that you would keep, particularly when you were DMing, about just like tiny little details that like would come up in really large and important ways later on. I felt like you were very good at the callback.
Oh, thank you so much.
I think mine is for everyone.
Ooh.
And I am just like constantly blown away at like, that's not a thought I would have had. Did I think that this was going to lead to that kind of situation? No.
To that point, Christine, you would come up with the coolest shit.
Yeah.
Like in the finale, I think you were the one who were like, I have a fork and Jacob has a gun, so let's just shoot him. Like, it's all, you're like so clever and always made sense for the situation and for the characters you were playing. And then one more, sorry, but Fob, you have DM'd for me, like in some capacity for like years. Like the two of us met playing D&D because we're fucking nerds. And it was really surprising to see you foray into horror and like stretching your comfort zone of like the stories you wanted to tell.
Thank you. I guess I'm always like, I don't know. I'm always seeing the stuff that I'm like, oh, I would have done that different. Oh, why'd I do that? Oh, beans. So I appreciate you saying that. It's weird, like listening back to them, I don't find the ones that I DM scary. I find the ones that you've DM'd, Marissa, to be like, those get me.
Really?
Like there were moments when we were recording Spectrophobia where I was like, oh, I'm actually afraid and I'm in my living room right now.
Thank you.
I definitely was surprised just with the whole shadow, the entire shadow, everything.
Yes, Jacob.
That was the goal with that one.
I've known you since high school, and I guess I just didn't know you well enough because that entire everything about that was, I never saw that coming.
And I am still surprised every time Shadow comes up, whether we visit your home. I'm surprised that you don't bring her to more social gatherings. Like, it is just perpetually hell.
The times you've been the most scared of Shadow have been the times like I brought her back in the same bag as last time we hung out because she's just still in the same bag and you're like, lose your mind. And I'm like, You didn't see this coming? It's literally still in the same bag.
But anyway, what's our next question?
What did each story teach us? So maybe let's go through, remind everyone the names of each story and what they mean, and then a little bit about what we learned while doing it. Because definitely season 1 was a learn as we go process.
100%.
The first story was Tapophobia, that I don't actually know if I'm pronouncing correctly, which was the fear of being buried alive. And I think that was just like podcasting 101. Like, how do we record it? All of the back end stuff that isn't super interesting to talk about, and figuring out what our table was like, and just like building the foundation of trusting each other as players, as collaborators.
Yes.
Yeah, the first episode for me was like, oh, we can do this. Great. We have work to do, but like, this is a viable project.
And also for me a little bit, not to belabor the first one, but like getting used to putting a thing that we create in the world. which was very vulnerable, but also very rewarding. So,
do you remember when we first got 100 downloads and we were like,
oh my God, I cried.
100 people listen.
I think we went out to celebrate. That was great.
We did.
Yeah, that was really fun. The second story, that was mine. That was, oh God, that was the money one. That was,
Chromophobia.
I don't think of them by their long fear names. I think of them as like, the first one is the maze one. The second one
interesting.
is the spooky house. And then we have the zoo. And then we have Waterworld, SeaWorld, that one. Then it's the spooky house again, but this house is worse. And then we got
the suburbs.
and then it's the cold zone, and that's it. You don't have to. What I'm saying, dear listener, is if you don't remember the long fear names of each story, it's okay. I don't either, and it's fine.
Yeah, I think that's on our list of things we've learned
Yeah.
is to have a better naming convention for our episodes.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
absolutely. But yeah, the second one, the spooky house, I learned, oh God, man, keep it interesting. Don't do boring stuff. Don't wait for people to say hyper specific bullshit that doesn't matter.
Yeah, like, oh, there's a salad in front of you. Do you eat it? Do you
What do you
open
do?
the paper?
Describe to me everything that you say.
Yeah, speaking of that, I think chromatophobia is the one where you described a kitchen and it was way too long and I made you go back and do it and then it was longer and then in editing we cut out the entire kitchen scene. It was just like, we don't need any of this at all.
On to that, Christine, what did you learn from Kalamazoo?
Yeah, so Kalamazoo, which is also titled Ornithophobia, the fear of birds.
Caw.
I forgot that.
I could not think of that to save my life. I was like, what is that called?
Okay, so I learned so much from running that one to the point that now I'm in that weird space of like, I understand that was my first time ever and you can't like hold past versions of yourself to higher standards because you didn't know what you were doing. But oh my gosh, I would run Kalamazoo so differently now. I think I've learned a lot about like what Fob was saying, flow and pacing for story and even just like how I'm writing it, because I had a really fun concept and storyline in my head that typically when I'm the only person writing, I can stick to that storyline. But when you bring in players, inherently they're going to change the story. So you need to be ready to flex. And I think a lot of the pitfalls from Ornithophobia just come from my inability to have that flex or trying to have it really on the fly rather than preparing for it. In particular, actually, and we talked about this after we played some of Kalamazoo, and it's so clear to me that I was just like panicking and didn't know what to do. But there's a moment when everyone's trying to escape from the tunnel, and the orcs guards like pull guns on the players. Yeah. But once we played through that, later on, like in the days following, I emotionally was like, holy shit, I know it was fictional, but I just shot at my best friends. And I didn't realize that would be difficult for me. And so, I came to everyone and said, hey, here's where I'm at with this. Like, I apologize if I crossed a line at all, like, because I didn't even think about how that could be triggering for some people. And fortunately, you all were totally okay with it. And it was more of me coming to understand that might be a difficult topic for me to play with.
Right.
Yeah.
But it also opened up a larger discussion that we have and are continuing to have and continuing to figure out that balance for our table about safety while playing, particularly because we are playing horror. Like we've talked about, like what are some tropes that are like, do not touch this, don't go there kind of things. And with everything, it's always good to have those like boundaries because then you can play more freely within them rather than trying to feel around and figure out where they are and potentially like touch on something that isn't going to be a good time for somebody.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that was the greatest thing that, like the biggest thing that came out of Kalamazoo was like, we actually hadn't had a conversation of like safety tools and stuff prior to that, which might sound crazy because we'd already done 2 full stories. And it was like, oh shoot, yeah, we need to do that. Let's
we just jumped right into the deep end. Like
We dove in.
Yeah,
which
there we
brings us
go.
To our deep sea story, thalassophobia.
Thalassophobia.
Yeah, riding the wave of weird names.
Oh, I guess I ran that one, so I do the thing. What did I learn? Let Omega Spears happen. I didn't learn that. I knew that Omega Spears were good.
Yeah, this was also one we did a lot of work setting up our characters and our relationship together, which was something I think we learned we like doing when we can. It just makes characters easier to get into, and having that kind of pre-established relationships helps keep things moving.
Yeah, I know there's one episode in Deep Sea where we all just got really into the psyche of our characters. And I think it made it into the final episode about how we take a minute where we're like, whoa, that was a lot of emotions that we just got into.
Yeah.
But allowing
Yeah.
that space and allowing ourselves to go there, like, it really helps you care more about your character. And so the stakes are higher and the scary things land harder. And so it all compounds and makes it better. And then we won a bunch of awards for that story.
Yeah.
Thanks, WebFest.
Yeah, but to name the awards, if you're curious, we won Best Actual Play Podcast at both the Minnesota Web Festival and the Miami Web Festival. And I got to attend both, which was a great experience. Hi, anybody I met, if you're listening. It was good to meet you.
And Jacob
Thanks
saw the
for
big
making
pretzel.
a good time. Also,
The big
yes,
pretzel
a
in
giant.
Minnesota.
There's a very big pretzel in Minnesota, and I love it a lot.
But I think that brings us to spectrophobia, where I learned not to be so neurotic as a TM.
Spectrophobia meaning, what was that one again? Fear of mirrors?
Wasn't it just fear of ghosts, specters?
No, that's phasmophobia.
All right. See, hey, dear listener.
Isotrophobia is the intense fear of mirrors. Spectrophobia is the fear of...
The fear of mirrors, or more specifically, the fear of what is reflected in them.
That's so, you know what? I thought for so long that it was the fear of ghosts, because and it's spectral. Like,
Listen.
I thought it was the fear of ghosts this whole time.
Anyway, what did y'all learn from spectrophobia?
I learned that if you die early, sometimes you get to come back as a beautiful phoenix that has been reincarnated by your ashes to be better than before, which I liked.
One of the biggest lessons that I learned during Spect was about, like, really staying in the moment as we're playing. Like, I love the Meisner technique for acting, which is, like, all about reacting to, like, what is immediately around you and, like, staying in that. We all played characters that were, like, stretches for all of us. And so, like, that was a constant tension about being, like, caught up in your head about, like, what you're doing versus reacting very naturally but for your character in the moment. The other lesson also was fuck around and find out.
Oh boy.
I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that was a guiding principle for you when we were playing that one, Jacob.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, kind of like you said, I was trying to play kind of outside of my comfort zone and be a character, who would do more stuff and not run away. We got somewhere.
Which was really lovely for me, though, because I think up until that episode when Carrot's introduced and Sean decides to punch everything, like, everyone had been so, like, not, like, timid, but, like, I had thrown a lot at you as a DM, and that finally felt like, okay, we have the reins back, you know what I mean? Which then, like, was great for where it ended, and then moving on into the finale as well. Speaking of the finale,
Ooh.
Phasmophobia, which is also a kick-ass video game, but the fear of ghosts or phantoms or specters, etc. But I think the finale truly was a finale in that it was the culmination of, like, everything that we had built upon, with the addition of balancing what is good for us as players as well as for the final edit, I think was important. Because, like, the whole idea of Ghost Theo from Spect a little bit, and to a larger extent, Ava as Orchid, was really hard to play through.
Oh my gosh.
Like, hey, maybe don't trick each other anymore. You know?
Yeah. Like we've talked a lot about it, like how dramatic irony is so hard to play through when you're making a show. And I know like I've heard other people who make RPG shows like talk about this same thing. Like it's just a difficult thing to try and tackle.
Yeah.
And so I think that conversation even is still ongoing for us as we're continuing to move forward to figure out
Definitely.
like what are we good with? Like what level of like deceit, I guess, like it will work because like, yes, we are making a show and also like we're playing with our friends. And so like, I would be lying to say that like there wasn't a time when we were playing through the finale that I was like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
be like, well, I'm not in on this.
I
Like,
remember
how
that
am I
moment.
supposed to do this? Like, and
Yeah.
like, you know, we've worked through that, like, so we're fine. So it's like, how do you make that reveal happen for your show while still making sure that everybody feels included
Yes.
in the collaboration and like on equal playing field?
Yeah.
And also, like, the finale was really fun because I threw every piece of my limited sound design heart at the finale. And it was just so much fun getting to do that. And I hope it sounds good. I hope people like it.
It sounds great.
Yes. It's been so cool watching you grow and learn. And that's one of my favorite things about season 1 has just been watching you like pop off as a sound designer.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed, like, when you were working on it, it was very fun because I'd go into the living room and you would just be sitting with, like, your headphones in, listening to a part, like, again and again, and just cackling to yourself. Or you'd be like, oh, Fob, you got to listen to this. Doesn't it sound gross? And I'd be like, yeah, it does. Let's go with that. That's a good sound right there. Let's do it.
Yes. And I just want to thank profusely from the depths of my soul Eli Schneider and Grey Voice, who have been kind enough to write some music for us over the season, as well as all of the absolutely incredible royalty-free Creative Commons sound creators whose works we've used. You can find links to all of them and all of their work on our website, but their stuff is freaking remarkable, and the show definitely would not exist in the way that it does without them making these sounds and making their work available.
So much of the show is made in the edit and so much of the show is made in the details. So
Yes.
these people are all facilitating that. And we're very grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you, listeners, for sending us your questions. I was so delighted every time they came in.
We got so many.
So we're going to move on to some questions that you've submitted to us. Who wants to ask the first one?
I'll hit it. This comes to us from Anne. Inspect. How did Lewis know that the camera flashes / bright light would work on H219? And I think this is a question for Marissa.
Claudia and Lewis had the bottom apartments, right? And the oddity got out in the basement. So it was just like working its way up, getting victims. So like it got Marty first from Claudia's apartment, then got Claudia, then was harassing Lewis. So he had been experiencing weird shit and like had a camera. So whenever he like felt something, he would like try to take a picture of it. And it would scare it. That's why he had a bunch of random pictures in the dark room with Tess. Some of them were Shadow. A lot of them were H219. And then when Tess came home, the oddity switched gears because it's like, oh, fresh blood. Excellent. So like Lewis knew kind of what was going on ish. There was just never a moment for him to like explain that. And frankly, the other stuff that we were doing was more interesting anyway. So
Did I mess that up by putting him to sleep for 8 hours?
I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Okay, also in Spect, we got this one from a couple people, but first asked by our friend Kristen. The church door puzzle in that story that Mothi conveniently just circumvented by rolling a 5. Marissa, what was that
God.
supposed to be?
I didn't know how you guys would tackle it, but if you couldn't get that door open and you tried to climb through a window, Shadow would have been more aggressive from the start. And so like whoever went in first the window would have essentially like gotten reboarded up, and so they would be trapped in the church and everyone else would be outside. And I had an idea of setting a real life timer of like, you all have 5 minutes, figure it out kind of thing.
That's cool.
I don't know that would have worked necessarily, and I really like how the shadow scene ended up anyway, but it was just like so like, fucking of course you rolled a 5, like This next one is about the finale from our friend Justin. Hi, Justin. What would have happened if we took old Knucklebones with us? Like, would he have reacted to Orchid? Like, would Orchid not have been Melanie? Like, what? Like, would they have recognized each other as like, you're a ghost, you're a ghost? And it was like the Spider-Man meme.
I think they would have just worked together to get out. Like, they both just wanted to leave. I don't know. You would have gotten more information about the base and stuff because old Knucklebones has been here and like he like knows the base. So you would have gotten like some more stuff about that. And I was planning on using him as kind of like a lore delivery system, but that didn't work, which means I didn't have to come up with the lore. So that, you know, that's great.
So this one is from Marty. Have any more potentially haunted objects been procured by the cast and were any used as inspiration?
No.
We've had a few close calls. Some questionable purchases, not necessarily haunted, but still questionable.
Potentially haunted. You don't know they're not haunted.
That's fair. Marty, there have been 100 tiny plastic babies that were purchased and dropped on our doorstep.
And then I went out of town and Fab and Marissa were feeding my cats and Jacob was on tour and I texted Marissa and said we should go break into Jacob's house while he's gone and hide the babies all around the house. And she said, haha, yeah, that would be so funny. And then I came back from Tennessee and there were small babies hidden all around my house. And I have never felt more betrayed.
Sorry.
Christine, it's like you gave us a really good idea or something.
It was also because we had like 200 of them. I'm like, we can't save all of these for Jacob.
But now we do enjoy just leaving small plastic babies at various restaurants around the area, putting them in each other's drinks. You know, they just show up.
It's a sign of love.
Tiny babies are my love language. This question is about the season as a whole, and it comes from our friend Karen. She says, I would like to request a yearbook of sorts for the characters we've met this season. Perhaps a graduation-style slideshow set to I Will Remember You by Sarah McLachlan. Seems like a great opportunity for some superlatives, too.
Incredible.
Karen, that's not a question and that's a demand, and therefore invalidated from this portion of the podcast.
We will meet this demand.
I have taken the liberty of Googling a few superlatives. So, best dressed.
Grace Juilliard.
Oh.
Yeah,
honestly. Biggest flirt. Gotta be Captain Eugene Penn, right? Like, hands down.
Come up to my room, we'll have a drink.
Biggest gossip. Also Grace Juilliard, right?
I don't know. I feel like Amy would be like a pretty
honestly,
right.
yeah, it's Amy. It's 100% Amy.
Best shoulder to cry on.
That would be Carrot. He doesn't know why you're crying, but he's going to be there and he's going to offer you a hot tea.
I feel like Henry would be a really good shoulder to cry
Oh,
on.
Henry would actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Henry would sympathetic cry with you.
Class clown.
Shadow.
Yes.
Most likely to succeed.
100% Marigold.
Or Mavis Dearson.
Oh, yeah? They can tie.
Who was, Jacob, what was your character in Chromatophobia called?
Abbott.
Abbott was very successful.
Yes.
I mean, he was, and then he wasn't.
Most likely to win the lottery and lose the ticket.
That one's Abbott.
Oh, that's tragic. Oh, no.
Because he did. Like, he literally did. Oh, my God. I didn't think about that.
That's kind of basically what happened to him. Yeah, that's his life story.
Most likely to succumb to the Eldritch Call of Cthulhu.
Carrot.
I mean, Orchid.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, yeah, he already did that. Yeah.
and then best couple.
There are no couples.
Kerrigold.
I do not consent to this.
Yes, it's Kerrigold.
If other people wish to have their own headcanons, they can. But
I
for
do.
me, it's not a thing.
Okay, our next question is from Rose. What was each of your favorite storylines, characters, and like supernatural beings?
Ooh. Spect for me, 100%.
Really?
I really loved Spect. I thought it was like legitimately really special and cool. I think my favorite character to play is either it's a tie between Carrot and Charlie.
Charlie.
I liked being aggressively positive. That was very fun for me.
My favorite story to play, I think, was probably Deep Sea. My favorite player character, I think is either Henry or Ava, because they were both like caricatures of aspects of myself. Favorite NPC to play, probably Lewis. Not gonna lie.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Lewis was delightful.
Oh, and my favorite supernatural entity, probably Orchid. Honestly, he was really cool.
Also a character you got to play.
That's true.
Yeah, technically, actually.
Yeah.
I hated that part.
Christine?
Deep Sea was definitely the most fun to play. I've said it before, but it felt like capturing lightning in a bottle. And I feel like even the process of like coming up with the promo for it was really fun. I'm really torn between if Billy or Hannes was my favorite character.
Ooh.
Because like they just both like mean so much to me, like on a very deep level. It's funny because they both like in a way had a sidekick. So I guess I just like that type of character dynamic. And my favorite supernatural entity was Patrice, but in reality,
Yes.
That's good.
But I also really have a soft spot for the mom and son ghosts in Taphophobia.
Oh, really?
Like I felt like that was like such an interesting story, and like the way that you described them and like peppered them through, and like it was very simple but well done, and so I liked them a lot too.
For me, I think my favorite character to play was probably Abbott.
Yes. I
yeah.
love
It
him.
was so
He
good.
was a lot of fun, and I don't know, I got to a place where I felt confident in that character and what he would do.
The money's on the line.
That was maybe my favorite one-liner.
Story, I think also Deep Sea for all the reasons we've all already said.
Yeah.
Supernatural entity is probably Shadow, just for all the joy that one little doll has brought me, in ways I've gotten to torture my friends, in ways I think they're mostly enjoyed. She's laughing now, so I'm going to take that as a good sign.
At this point, it's really just like a one-on-one Jacob bullying Marissa. Like,
A little
Yes, but we've had the conversation. I'm like, if it's really a problem, you tell me, and she hasn't told me, so it's a fun bullying, right? Right? You're enjoying it, right?
I am.
next question.
This is from our friend Alicia. What classic horror movie trope best describes you? I've thought about this a lot. I feel like I would be the conspiracy nut who's like, oh my God, something's happening. And everyone's like, nah. And then I die and I'm proven right.
I'm not in real life, but I feel like the laid back stoner is maybe just go with the flow. It's whatever. Oh, we're dying now? Shit, man. That's a real bummer.
For
Let's try to
real?
not do that. I don't know. I don't like horror movies.
Which is wild.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Jacob, I feel like you would be like Last Man Standing, like sole survivor situation.
Why?
Because you are in the season one.
Yeah.
I would be the gremlin. Don't get me wet and don't feed me after midnight.
Ooh. That's a good.
Incredible.
If anyone would like to feed me after midnight, I will take it.
This is from Rico. What are our goals for 2023? Season 2, probably.
Yeah. I mean,
Ooh.
So season 2 is in the works. It will be a hot minute before it is ready.
I think our main goal for season 2 is like to keep the momentum going, to keep bringing the heat. We have a really good idea of how to do what we're doing and also a ton of ideas for how to continue growing. So that's what we're aiming for.
And we're very excited about it.
Very
Yes.
excited.
I'm stoked.
we're very excited about that, but also in the feed, you can expect some
Collaborations!
But yeah, so there will be in between episodes, we may be bringing in some guests. And speaking of guests,
Ooh.
for our next segment, we
Oh.
have 2 guests who will be joining us for Christine's Chopped Cursed Kitchen. What do we call it?
Smackdown something I think was in there.
We recorded it a while ago, but our past selves will tell you all about it.
Shall we go to the kitchen?
Star Wipe.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, one and all.
Let's get ready to rumble, folks. This is the Dread and Breakfast Brunch Smackaroonie. In one corner, we have cursed person who owns a meat slicer, Jacob. In the other corner, we have... I didn't want to insult her, Marissa. In the last corner, we have the Carnival King of Chaos. It's me. Hi, everyone. It's Fob. What's up?
And presiding over today's proceedings, it's yours truly, the mastermind behind the curses herself, Christine.
The Kitchen Queen, Christine.
And also joining us, we have friend of the show, Maggie.
Hello.
As well as our wonderful, definitely intern who we have employed this entire time.
100%.
Manon!
Woo! Me.
Now, the fun thing is that neither of you knew what you were getting into today. We just told you to show up. Are you having any regrets yet?
I could be napping now.
But instead you get free food, so this will go well.
Food is in quotations,
Yeah.
though,
Yes.
so
I can guarantee at least some of it technically qualifies as food.
Speaking of which, let's talk about our criteria for today's Smackdown. Every dish that we have today will be scored on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, on 5 different criteria. The first criteria is appearance. How beautiful is it? Our second criteria is ingenuity and creativity, which refers to how well our chefs today have incorporated the secret ingredient, chickpeas. Dun dun dun. Criteria number 3 is edibility. How well can we eat this?
I feel like that's up to you, how well you can eat it.
All-
That's not
all
a me
of this,
problem.
no, this is all subjective.
Okay.
So this is an interesting criteria because I have certain allergies. Friend of the show, Maggie, is a vegetarian. Manon, do you have any?
I'm picky.
Manon is picky. So edibility may change depending on the judge. Criteria number 4, relation to the story. We are a podcast after all, and we did sleep over our first season. So how well does your dish relate to one of the stories in season 1 of Dread and Breakfast? And the final criteria, general chaos.
So who will be our first chef this afternoon?
I'm told it has to be me.
Bum, 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 dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, some sort of musical transition.
While we're waiting for Jacob, does anyone want to say anything funny?
Maggie, do you want to tell a story, share a reflection, a haiku perhaps?
I don't know how to form a haiku.
5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
That's asking too much.
Okay.
I appreciate that energy.
Yeah. I
What
respect
about a
that.
nice couplet?
That's harder, I feel
I
like.
was homeschooled.
So Maggie, would you... Okay, wait, all right, wait, hang on.
Maggie,
Yes.
An area of education in which you feel homeschooling failed you.
I didn't do math for a whole year.
Wait, are you allowed to admit to that on this? A very official podcast.
I have a bachelor's degree now, so I feel like I can.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're gonna make you go back.
Go back to algebra half.
Yes, exactly.
What is happening? There's a cocktail perhaps? What?
He's Jacob's bribing us with booze.
Oh! Someone brought me a nice coupe of something, and I don't know what it is.
Oh, is this blood?
I'm excited to share.
This looks beautiful.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm really mad. I want to win. Fuck you. There's more. Jacob!
Our first contender steps up to the plate.
Dun dun.
Tell us a little bit about what you have just placed in front of us.
Of course. First, I'd like you to travel back with me, back in time to a story we once did called Spectrophobia.
No! Where is it?
Jacob, did you bake the doll into the cookies?
You would love to know, wouldn't you?
Please continue.
Okay, so if we travel back in time to this story of spectrophobia, and we proceed to slightly after that in some possibly non-canonical speculative fiction. At the end of that story, our friend Tess was not back yet, was missing, was gone, was still somewhere, and maybe going to come back. This is our probable feast that our dear friends have prepared to welcome her back. And for some reason, after that ordeal, they all became obsessed with chickpeas.
So this is the coming home party part 2 for Tess?
Yeah, this is like some nice party food. So you've got, some hummus and veggies to snack on, some delectable finger sandwiches, some cookies, and a nice signature cocktail. So dig in.
Well, before we do, we have a couple of things to dip into this hummus. We've got a few vegetables, some pretzels,
The good
very
pretzels.
on brand. What is this other thing here?
It's a flatbread.
Okay.
It's a totally normal flatbread that I made normally with normal ways and means and ingredients.
Cool. And what is inside this sandwich that we have here?
Well, one of them is a vegetarian option with a nice chickpea salad, and the other is sous vide roast beef that is very good roast beef, and both have a nice horseradish sauce.
And tell us about this cocktail that you have crafted.
It's delicious, and drink it, and don't think too hard about it. It's fine.
And what about these cookies here?
They're cookies, just regular, normal cookies for people to eat.
I love it.
Just dig in and give me your thoughts, and I can answer questions, after you eat it.
I love this cocktail unironically. I do think there's chickpea syrup in it.
Is the foam from Aquafaba?
That's it.
That's
yes.
what I thought.
It's basically a sour, but with an aquafaba instead of eggs. I was going to call this cocktail the Kiss of Shadow.
Yep, that's what it's called.
And it was originally going to be much more complicated and involve horseradish, among other things. It was going to be based loosely off of a cocktail called the Russian Kiss, so the Kiss of Shadow.
Delightful.
But I couldn't make it work, so now it's pretty much just a sour with a fancy, nice cherry.
I really like this cocktail. It's very
It's
good.
really good.
Very
It's
good.
light, and I'm gonna steal more of the one that Fob and I are sharing. I'm sorry, Fob.
It's okay.
How's that flatbread, Maggie?
It's very tough.
Would it surprise you if I told you it was chickpea flour in there?
Oh.
Fancy.
Hummus is delicious.
It is nice. It's well balanced.
Thank
It's a
you.
very
Like
nice
the
hummus.
What if I told you those chickpeas were chickpeas?
What?
Marissa, can you tell me where in that roast beef sandwich the chickpeas were?
My imagination.
In the horseradish sauce. Also, some aquafaba in a mayonnaise-like thing that's not mayonnaise, so Maggie can still eat it.
I will say, can confirm I do not like horseradish.
Yeah, it's a specific taste. What about that cookie?
The appearance level is definitely down. It kind of looks, I want to say like a cow pie, but they ate a lot of peanuts.
Does that cookie feel familiar to you at all?
I feel like it should.
That's a horrifying way of saying that, Jacob. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
So imagine if it had chocolate chips instead of peanut butter chips.
Is it those get your child to eat veggies chocolate chip cookie recipe?
Yes, it's the gaslight your child into eating vegetables
what I
recipe.
What?
I always secretly loved those cookies.
They were not bad cookies.
They were
They
good
did a
cookies.
good job at gaslighting. Our mom went through this phase where it was like trick your children into eating vegetables by sneaking them into cookies and stuff.
Are you guys siblings?
Yeah.
Yes.
What the hell?
But anyway, these cookies.
I'm just blown
These
away.
cookies are basically like a can of chickpeas, some maple syrup, and a blender. There's no flour or nothing in them.
Really?
There's some baking powder or something like that, and some peanut butter.
These are actually really good.
They're really good. They're very good.
An excellent entry into our Smackdown. What did we call it?
The Brunch Round Table Rumble. Bum, 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 bum.
Okay.
Fabrice, 'tis your turn to enter the gauntlet. Bring us your dish. Fabrice! Wow.
Fabrice, get out of here with your fanciness. Get out.
Whoa, there's another one. Oh no.
Oh, we're Fabrice.
I can already see something that I am nervous about.
Hello, friends.
And welcome to my portion. I have, for your consideration, croissants.
Ooh.
Is that all we get?
So you might be wondering, which story does croissants relate to?
I am curious.
And my answer is, of course, all of them.
Oh.
ORCS, clearly a French organization. They are such a French organization that I'm not going to talk down to you, the listener, by explaining how they are a French organization, because I know that you already understand. Yes, Marissa.
Where the fuck are the chickpeas, though?
So true.
Now, that is a great question. So I did not make for you all plain, boring croissants. No. That would be
Okay,
that would be too easy.
can't malign the croissant like that, okay?
So I, of course, filled my croissants with a probably chickpea-like substance. So if you
What
guys could
does
all
that
enjoy
mean?
it, just enjoy a croissant.
I'm concerned because one of these, I can see a brightly colored something or other sticking out of it.
Well, one of the I would like to remind you, Christine, that what is the last category in our thing?
General chaos.
And I'm just reminding you of that.
Okay, excellent.
Please enjoy your croissant from Fob.
Are they all the same?
No, but they are all vegetarian friendly Maggie.
Thank you.
All
What
right.
about vegan friendly?
They are not vegan friendly. They are.
I just became a vegan.
Oh,
I
well,
can't.
they are-
too.
Yeah.
They are, of course,
Shoots and heck.
croissants.
Wait, Manon, this would be a delightful ASMR.
Oh yes, this is a
moment.
good crinkle tinkle.
It's a little bird.
Oh.
Option one of the croissant is hummus, which is pretty good. I think I like Jacob's hummus more, but the croissant does slap.
Yeah, the croissant with the hummus absolutely slaps.
Really great.
Thank you. The other croissant.
I'm going to try it.
No, tell them after the bite.
I'll paint you a word picture. Close your eyes. From the outside, it is very croissant-like in shape, color, and texture. But on the inside, there is a gooey, gummy substance with brightly colored chunks.
Would you call it gelatinous?
I would say gelatinous. Very Sour Patch Kids in shape. If you were to melt a Sour Patch child, a whole bushel of them, and to place it inside of a croissant.
We'll take a bite and let the listener know how it tastes.
No, I can't do it. My front teeth just bit down into hot, gelatinous Sour Patch Kid form.
I think that's the most horrifying thing that our podcast has experienced yet.
I have grown up with Fabrice, I would say, my whole life.
You two are related?
Yeah.
Can't you tell?
I mean, sometimes. This is the worst thing you've ever done. I'm telling on you.
Good. Jacob, do you want?
I was just going to ask if Shadow was maybe more traumatic and horrifying.
I don't know.
What if Shadow was back?
See, that doesn't work on me anymore. I've overcome my fear of Shadow.
But somebody else hasn't.
Oh, Manon.
Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's not good at all. Please.
I think the other judges should sample a little
Yes,
bit of the Sour Patch Kids
I was
croissant.
about to say that.
Is there another one?
Oh, I made several.
I thought I was good. I thought.
I wanted you
I
all.
don't want it.
I wanted you all to
must.
have a chance that you might just get one of the Sour Patch ones at the start, and you
Oh,
might
I just got a lemon. I just got a lemon one.
You know, you'd think that would be good.
Yeah, you'd think. You'd
Don't-
really think.
Bob, you can never go to France now.
Yeah. Maggie looks so afraid. The secret actual episode of the podcast that I'm referencing is, of course, spectrophobia.
How?
Because there are children and they are being eaten by you, my friends now.
Were there children in spectrophobia?
I like to think of Theo, Tess. They were kids and they got eaten by a ghost.
All right, I'm trying to eat this. Maggie, would you like to share your experience?
Okay. If I was blindfolded and I got that bite and you ignore the texture, mine was full of lemon, children. So if you take the texture out of it, you may be able to get a whisper of maybe it's lemon curd.
Yes.
Maybe it's lemon, but then it's not.
I'm curious because I haven't had one of this batch. Can you taste the sour?
One of
No.
this batch.
I cannot taste this.
I can't.
Okay, I workshopped this recipe for all of you. I want you to know that. This was not my first iteration of
Oh,
the
I
Sour
feel
Patch Kid
loved.
croissant. In my testing, in the mad kitchen science that is my life, I found that the sour element in the Sour Patch Kids kind of just bakes into the croissant and like goes away.
It does.
So you mostly just get the sweet and then gone
I got
nature.
the sour.
Oh, did you?
I think
There was like a clump.
it was.
Oh, good.
Oh,
You guys didn't get that?
No.
Are you serious?
I didn't get that.
That's probably because for yours, I think the one that you took specifically, I put the most Sour Patch Kids in one area and just kind of crushed them together.
I knew this was what he was doing. I saw him do this. And he was like, he watched me watch him do this. And then he was like, oh, you can't be in here. And I was like, but I'm hungry. You said there's going to be food.
And there is.
And then Jacob brought out Sour Patch marshmallows like it was sustenance.
The marshmallows were just a fun pre-record snack / chaos experiment.
and a moose bouche, if you will.
So where's the chickpea in the Sour Patch Delight?
Oh, the Sour Patch one, there is no chickpea. That is just for the Carnival of Chaos. That is me. I could lie to you and say that I put aquafaba in the croissant. I could do that. I'm not going to, though.
Did you name this? Jacob named his cocktail. What do you name the Sour Patch
Ooh.
monstrosity?
I named that the Edible Children Croissant. You're welcome.
That was your one chance to link it to the podcast.
Oh, no, that's H001. That is the first human. And you're welcome.
Thank you, Fabrice, for your entry into this round of our competition, which is referred to as
The D&B Breakfast Brunch Extravaganza.
Oh, that was a strong one.
Thank you.
Marissa, please enter the kitchen to prepare your creation. I don't think that I am the same. I think that there was a before and there is an after.
For your life or just for...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Are you okay? What just happened?
She found Shadow.
You're not supposed to look in the secret bag.
I just looked down and they were right. So scary. I looked down into a bag and just saw eyes looking up, and she was like sprawled like a corpse amidst like hummus shit. Why did you bring Shadow?
Oh, for that exact reason.
Oh my god.
I'm ready. Are you all ready?
ready.
All right, Marissa, bring it in. Round 3. Whoa! Is that a macaron?
I'm concerned.
Is that how you say that?
What is happening?
So what we have today is my attempt at an aquafaba macaron.
Oh my gosh.
So our kitchen scale broke, and with macarons, they're very finicky. So
Yeah.
you really want to weigh the ingredients, and I suddenly could not do that. So the texture is bad, but aquafaba meringue was really cool to make, though.
So I'm really concerned because these fillings,
Oh, would you love to know what the fillings
they
are?
do vary, and one of them looks like it might be tuna.
You are correct.
Okay.
I wanted to hit every story. So we have 6 different flavors for 6 stories of our podcast. So the furthest to the right
Oh
is
my
filled with
gosh.
edible cookie dough because Beverly made cookies that fell on the ground. The second one, of which I did only make 2 because I don't expect more than 2 people to want it.
Is it the salad?
Yes. It is Carson's really bad salad, which is just fucking lettuce between macaron shells.
Oh, excellent.
The third one is
it's the zoo?
it's the zoo. It's bird seed, which my interpretation was cream cheese with everything bagel seasoning.
Ooh.
And a little bit of walnuts for that bird seed texture.
Yeah.
For deep sea, we have tuna salad with fresh dill. For spectrophobia, those are just 2 mini donuts for Amy's car donuts.
Oh my gosh.
And the last one is a dark hot cocoa ganache.
Oh.
I will request that every flavor, at least one of them, must be consumed. I don't care by who.
What was the lettuce one again?
Just lettuce.
Oh,
All right, I want to try
Literally
this
just
cookie
lettuce.
dough. This is like cookieception here.
It is.
is this the worst thing I've ever had? No.
What's the
I'll
worst
take
thing
that.
you ever had about 5 minutes
It was
ago?
like, yeah, about 5 or 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
I will say the cookie dough one was good, but it was just mainly cookie dough.
Cream cheese and everything bagel does overtake the macaron, so it doesn't taste bad.
If you were a lost bird, would that entice you to come home?
I think it would.
Oh, am I up?
You're up.
Well, we've arrived at the deep sea episode, so I guess I'll eat the tuna macaron. Which is not a sentence I ever thought I'd say in my life.
Isn't it a joy?
You know, when Fob asked me one summer evening if I was interested in doing a podcast with him,
You didn't immediately think of Sour Patch Kid croissants and tuna macarons?
funnily enough, no.
Wild.
Okay, I'm going to take the one that is less filled.
That's good. That's a good decision that you made.
oh,
oh no.
the dill. Oh, God.
The dill.
Now, Christine, was a Sour Patch Kid croissant the worst thing you ate
up,
today?
Fabrice.
In my defense, the tuna tasted good not on a macaron.
Here's what happened. I sank my teeth into this cookie, and it was like I bit into it, and instantly, like, the cookie dissolved, and all there was fish. Oh, Marissa. What have you done to me?
I'm so sorry.
Man, I thought I felt different after pickle cotton candy.
I mean,
I didn't think it would be that bad.
I also didn't think it would be that bad. So how is the donut macaron?
It's really sweet. The only 2 downsides are the height. I don't think I have that big of a mouth. Physically, not metaphorically.
In my head, it looked very funny, and I was correct, so I went
It
with
was very funny. The second downside is the macaroon is sticky, but that could have just been avoided by me not holding it for 5 minutes. Yeah, I'd eat it again.
And then it's just a hot chocolate ganache, which I promise is safe. That sounds very intimidating. It is literally just like heavy cream, dark chocolate, and hot
I will eat
chocolate.
that.
That's all it is.
I need to get the fish taste out of it.
I'm so sorry.
I waited for Maggie to take a bite before I said I put Sour Patch Kids in it.
No, you didn't. You did not. These are pure.
Hot diggity shit, that's a baller cookie.
Yes!
This one's delicious.
Thank you.
That's it. Yep.
Well, thank you so much for sampling this cursed platter. That's all I got.
So you don't want to try the tuna one? I at least ate a Sour Patch Kid croissant.
I ate their individual components earlier.
Here's the thing, though. Every single breakfast, I also tasted the thing along with you.
All right.
She's doing it. Yes.
I have a serious question.
Yeah.
If I swallow a bite of it, will my edibility score increase?
No.
Will any of my scores increase?
I mean, you're
Just
street
out of
cred.
spite.
Your likability score will increase.
Okay. Oh, Jesus God.
It's not worth it.
I don't like
You
it.
brought this thing into the world.
Oh my gosh, you swallowed it?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
And she's wiping tears away.
Oh, that was unpleasant. Why?
All right. And thus ends round 3 of...
The end of season tasting triathlon.
I feel like retribution has been served. I think we're back on an even playing field as far as our friendship and the things that we've done to each other.
We start season 2 with a blank slate. We are born anew in season 2.
Yes, I agree.
So Maggie looked concerned right there.
Doing math.
Are we supposed to do a total? Oh, shoot.
Everyone.
I know, I realized I had to total them up.
Minnow, don't you
Already
know?
established.
Maggie missed a year of math.
Oh, shoot, you did.
Believe it or not, math and science, best subjects.
According to what?
According to my college transcripts.
Valid.
It is time for the scoring. So let's start with appearance. Jacob,
Hello.
you brought something pretty delightful and varied.
I felt like a Jane Austen novel. I was having a picnic.
I thought it was nice.
All right.
Can you tell we're related?
I gave you a 5. When you put this coupe in front of me, it was just so elegant and nice. And so, yes, I felt you deserved
It
a
was
5.
worth stopping at the thrift store on the way to get the coupes. So,
Oh!
very good. I was looking for haunted dishes, but instead I found very nice coupes.
Haunted dishes.
You have a problem. Okay.
I give you a 5 as well.
Perfect
right.
scores.
Perfect
I
score and
appreciate
appearance.
it.
Golf claps.
Fabrice,
Yes.
they looked like croissants.
They were croissants. Cool.
They were a little
Quispy.
overdone.
Yeah.
So I gave you a 4.
I gave you a 4 as well.
I feel 4.5.
Hell yeah. Yes.
And so that leaves Marissa for your appearance score. You really created a feast for the eyes of, what in the world is that? Oh, what's that?
I will say it was beautiful, but a little bit intimidating.
You didn't know which ones were safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that doesn't capture the essence of the segment, I don't know what does.
So I gave you a 5 on
Yes.
appearance.
Gave you a 4 just for the intimidation.
Okay.
I,
All right.
I give you a 5.
All right. Our next category, ingenuity/creativity, which does take into account how well the chickpeas were incorporated into your dish. Jacob, I really appreciated how you had a variety of different ways that you incorporated the chickpeas. So I gave you a 4.
I feel like it could be higher, but okay. Thank you.
I gave you a 5 because you incorporated different elements.
Yeah, actually,
Chickpea
wait, no, I do want to change my.
aquafaba.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
So
no,
multiple different.
I'm being influenced.
So I did give you a 5.
I'm being
Took
influenced.
so many trips to stores to get different kinds of chickpeas.
I felt as though you had hummus. And hummus is like,
Among many other things. And the hummus was
Yeah,
the
you guys keep
decoy
talking
for the
about
flatbread.
you guys keep talking about the thing that was in glasses that starts agave. What is it called?
Aquafaba
Aqua.
is the juice from the can of the chickpea.
See, everyone kept throwing that word out there. Like, we all know what it means. Some of us didn't know what that meant.
Oh,
Well, you could have asked.
I really could have, but yeah, I gave you a 3 out of 5. So, I thought, it was all stuff I was expecting. I was expecting hummus. I was expecting pita bread, flatbread?
Sure.
Oh, shoot and heck, I forgot about the cookies. Oh, bro. That's like a 4 out of 5 now. You know what?
Thank you.
You really changed my mind.
Thank you,
there.
Marissa.
All right. So, Fabrice, for your ingenuity and creativity score, I felt like you could have done a little more. And even the thing that we talked the most about was not even the chickpea element. So I gave you a 3.
That's fair.
I give you a 3 as well for the same reason. Jacob set the bar really high with the...
So you're saying if I had gone first, it might have been better.
No.
No.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate. Manon?
See, I gave you a 5.
Yes! Fuck yeah! Hell
But you just made
Hell
hummus.
yeah! Don't you dare change that.
You just made hummus. But me as a person, I like when my foods don't touch. So if someone were to like put a croissant on my plate and then put a glob of hummus and they touched, I would no longer eat either food object. So to me, I was like, that's so creative because I would literally gag if I saw this in the wild. If somebody just like did this. So I thought that was super. Am I not? Am I?
Nope.
Am
Can I
not?
remind you of when you did literally gag when you took a bite into the second croissant?
We're not about that. We're not.
Yeah,
we're not.
That one did not have chickpeas in it, as far as we know.
Which is part of the reason why I gave a lower score.
I'll take the 5. Keep your scores the same.
You know what? That's
we don't have time.
pretty creative. Chickpea or no chickpea. If somebody, I'll go back to the plate metaphor. If somebody were to put a plate,
All right, so Manon
of those
gave you a
3
5.
objects.
So, Marissa, your ingenuity and creativity. It was very smart of you to incorporate the aquafaba. I would not have known that it was chickpeas, so I felt like you brought that right in. I gave you a 4 in this category.
That's fair.
I gave you a 4 as well.
Give you a 5.
Oh, hell yeah! All right. Well, that brings us to edibility. Jacob,
Nobody gagged at any of mine.
This
I'm
is
recalling.
true. Yes. No, I was pretty delighted by everything. And you also had every course, so I gave you a 5.
Thank you.
I give you a 4. I didn't enjoy the sandwich,
The horseradish.
the horseradish, but I think that was more personal. But it still reflects on your score.
It's a subjective medium.
Jacob, you shined where others did not.
I'm not going to argue with that.
I gave you a 5 out of 5.
All right, Fabrice, let's
Hello.
talk about edibility. So the thing is that this was tricky to score because you had 2 aspects to your dish. One of which was actually like pretty banging. Like
Yeah.
I greatly enjoyed the chickpea croissant.
Great.
However,
I think you should fog away the other half from your mind
oh no.
for this one
If
portion.
anything, this is stained on my memory forever.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy to leave an impression.
I did not appreciate the texture of the baked Sour Patch, and I am not even really that sensitive of a texture person, so that's saying something. And for that, I gave you a 3.
Oh, okay. That's not even that bad. Thank you.
I gave you a 3 too because chickpea croissant, delicious.
Okay. Thank you.
I would just like to read something really quick. The definition of edible is fit or suitable to be eaten. In what world is molten, melted Sour Patch Kid fit or suitable to be eaten? I gave you a 2 out of 5. Case closed. You suck.
This is the best day of my life.
All right, Marissa, this was also very tricky to score because you really ranged the gamut. You had the delightful cookie dough and hot cocoa versions, and then there was the tuna. And I know that you mentioned this in your description, but the macaron texture
bad.
was a little off. So I did give you a 2 for edibility.
A 2. I fell further than the fucking molten children.
I was unable to eat a single bite.
I hate to say it, but I gave you a 2 as well.
That's fine. That's fine.
I have never been so happy.
Fabrice is parading around my house. A la Chariots of Fire.
I don't need to win anymore.
Manon.
I thought the cookies were pretty dope.
Thanks.
All of the ones that I ate were totally fine.
And you had the lettuce one.
The lettuce one was really good. You should try it. However, just the fact that you put tuna in a cookie, that is foul. That gave you a 0 out of 5. I couldn't even look at it.
This was for a bit. Like,
Well, then let's move along to relation to the story. Jacob, you used a non-canonical thread. So I gave you a 2.
Yeah, I understand.
I gave you a 3. It was the whole spread, and I could see,
Friends hanging out,
Friends
having a good
hanging
time,
out.
playing some board
So
games.
that's why I gave you a 3.
Did it relate to this story? Sure, yeah, it did. 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Christine,
Yeah.
it's my turn.
Yeah, I gave you a 1.
Not a 0. So I'll take
Because
that.
it's a scale from 1 to 5. And we need some rules in this world of chaos.
I gave you a 2.
Thank you.
Why?
Don't question it. Let's
A
move
little
on.
bit of effort.
That's not the category.
Struggle.
The category is relation to the story of season 1 of Dread and Breakfast.
Christine, Maggie has, of course, listened to every episode of season 1. She understands why it's French.
Did it relate to the stories? Why not? 5 out of 5. They're Sour Patch Kids. You're a bunch of kids.
Manon, we might have to discuss the terms of your employment.
No, my job.
Marissa, you got all 6 stories in there. It was a 5 from me.
thank you.
5 out of 5.
I wasn't feeling it. Okay, these are jokes. These are just jokes. But did it relate to the stories? Yeah. 5 out of 5.
You gave them all 5?
Participation. Good job, guys.
Oh my god.
All right, and that brings us to the glorious final category of general chaos. Jacob, everything was pretty familiar. Like, I could tell
Can
what
I
everything
remind you
was.
of the cookies?
No, I know. I understand this.
Nope.
I stand by what I have scored you, which is a 3.
Okay.
I give you a 4. Wasn't as chaotic, but wasn't not chaotic.
Yeah, it sounds like a 3 to me. That sounds like an average, which is like a 3. That's dead in the center.
I heard 4.
We know that you can change your answer.
Oh no, we're running out of time. Manon.
So I gave you a 0 out of 5 because I wasn't scared.
Fabrice,
Hello.
absolutely chaotic.
Thank you.
I gave you a 4.
Oh.
I think you just broke his heart.
Interesting. Maggie, moving on.
I gave you a 5.
So I counted it only as a 5, but I gave you a 17 out of 5 because why are you like this?
Thank you. Thank you, Manon.
All right, Marissa. There definitely were some incredibly chaotic elements to what you presented us, but there were also some delightful and, shall I say, safe options. So I also gave you a 4 in the general chaos score.
This is fair.
I also gave you a 5.
I gave you a 4 because the lettuce one was really good.
It was good?
Guys, try it. It was really good.
And now it's time for the final scores of
Dread and Breakfast Brunch Beatdown Extravaganza of Chaos.
All right, in third place with 53.5 out of 75, Fabrice.
Yeah. I expected this. I'm okay with that.
We have an issue, though, because Jacob and Marissa have tied with 59 points.
What? We should have a competition. Who can fit the most Sour Patch marshmallows
Yes.
in their mouth
In their mouth.
and hold them in the longest? And you have to say Chubby Bunny. Just
They are
for
going
me, you
at it.
have to
Oh
say
my goodness.
Chubby Bunny.
What is happening? I have never seen these two be so ravenous.
Marissa cannot fully close her mouth. Who can say Chubby Bunny?
Marissa's going to.
Marissa is going to explode.
Oh,
I feel
that
like
was
those
a-
are very similar.
I feel like Marissa's was a little more enunciated, but Jacob's
agree.
had a little bit more feeling to it.
so
They're still tied.
So they are still tied, and they did this just for my amusement.
I can't believe they did it that fast.
wait, yeah, they just went for it.
I know. You're allowed to spit it out.
You taste so bad.
You're allowed to spit them out. Why are you
win.
Well, dear listener, I suppose that it's up to you now to break this tie. So if you would like to recreate any of the dishes that you have heard about on this glorious brunch episode, you can find recipes on our website, dandbpod.com. We're on Twitter at DreadandBeFast and Instagram at DandBpod. Please send us pictures, ratings. You can rank them based on these categories because for now we are just going to go with this tie, I suppose. Manon, Maggie, thank you for joining us. We're sorry that you were not sure what you had signed up for, but we thank you for coming on our podcast.
Gonna go see Sonic the Hedgehog now.
Have fun. Have fun.
Hello, it's us from the future/past again. The episode is over
We
now.
exist outside of time.
We're recording this after we recorded the questions, but it's the future. For us, time is an illusion.
Whoa.
Anyway, thank you for listening. Sincerely, very much. Thank you. A lot.
Yeah, holy shit.
Thank you for listening to Dread and Breakfast Season 1. We're so appreciative of everyone who has listened to us, who has encouraged us as we've ventured on, and forth we shall go into Season 2. Okay, love you, bye!
Okay, we love you. Bye. We'll see you sometime soon.
This season was brought to you by listeners like you.
Aww. Oh, well, hi. Hey, hello. Thanks again for joining us for brunch. We are hard at work getting season 2 ready for your ears, and oh boy, are we excited. In the meantime, keep an eye on the feed for some occasional one-shots and collaborations that will help tide you over. If you miss us before then, you can go say hi on our social media. We're on Instagram at DNBpod, on Twitter at DreadandBeFast, or you can check out our website, dnbpod.com. Thanks again to our special guests, Maggie and Mannon. You can't find Maggie anywhere on the internet, but if you'd like to thank Mannon for enduring our culinary gauntlet, you can check out her Etsy shop. It's called LittleGoodBoutique, where she designed some really cute handmade earrings, some needle felting work, and just a ton of really, really cool stuff. You definitely want to check it out. We'd also like to thank Eli Schneider, as always, for composing our theme song. All of our additional audio credits can be found on our website. We cannot wait to share our new adventures with you in Season 2. Thank you in advance for your patience, and thank you so much for supporting our little show. We love you, and we'll see you all dreadfully soon.